Right now at noon, the trial begins for the man accused of killing a Milwaukee police officer executing a search warrant earlier this year. And Governor Tony Evers is set to define Wisconsin's laws when it comes to electric scooter rentals.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us on a Monday afternoon. I'm Josh Breiter in for Mark Kane. A beautiful day with lots of sunshine. Let's start off with meteorologist Chris Reese, who's everyone's favorite guy over in the Weather Center this morning. Hi, Chris.
Hello, Josh. It's good to be back in Wisconsin. I'll tell you why. Things feel a lot better now than they did perhaps going into the weekend. Temperature-wise, we are still warm. It's still summertime out there. 79 in Madison right now. The Dells at 78. You've got a couple spots into the low 80s. Camp Douglas 82. And then you go down to Mineral Point and you are at 81. But there's not a cloud in the sky. It's absolutely beautiful. Winds are calm. The humidity is down to 48%. And those dew points have come back down below 60. So it starts to feel like a little bit of a breath of fresh air. It's not as humid out there. More humidity is back towards the west, though. Check out parts of western Iowa where those dew points are a little bit higher. Not a lot of cloud cover over the state as a whole. That also means no showers or thunderstorms to track for this afternoon and evening as things do remain clear. Planned for a pretty spectacular Monday. Lots of sunshine. We'll see those highs in the low 80s. We'll start Tuesday off on a sunny note as well. But we'll talk about when storms could arrive this week. Coming up in Maine weather, Josh.
It's nice just to get a couple days break, though.
Yes, it is.
All right, Chris, thank you. Just into the Channel 3000 Alert Center this noon, officials with the state Republican Party say President Trump is scheduled to attend a Wisconsin fundraiser this week. A spokesman says the state party heard from the Republican National Committee that the president will attend a fundraiser in Milwaukee on Friday. Right now, officials aren't confirming any other details. Today is the start of the trial for the man accused of fatally shooting a Milwaukee police officer. 27-year-old Jordan Fricke is accused of killing Officer Matthew Rittner on February 6th. Rittner was helping serve a search warrant for suspected illegal guns and drugs. Fricke is charged with 4 felonies, including first-degree intentional homicide. Last month, the judge denied a defense motion to sequester the jury. More than a decade after reaching a secret plea deal on sex charges involving minors, well-connected billionaire Jeffrey Epstein has been hit with similar charges in a New York federal court today. The indictment says Epstein sexually exploited dozens of minors as young as 14 in his homes in New York and Florida. And from at least 2002 until at least 2005, he recruited dozens of girls to engage in sex acts and gave them hundreds of dollars in cash. There have been more than 4,000 aftershocks so far near the epicenter of 2 earthquakes in Southern California. Friday's 7.1 magnitude earthquake near Ridgecrest was the largest earthquake in California in about 2 decades. It followed a 6.4 quake on the 4th of July. Damage totals could reach $1 billion. Officials are urging residents still in tents to start re-entering their homes. Some scientists rather predict an uptick in quakes in the coming years.
I would think this is most likely that we're going to be re-entering a period of more like the 70s and 80s, where we had a magnitude 6 somewhere in Southern California every couple of years.
California is spending more than $16 million to install thousands of quake-detecting sensors, and the governor is urging residents to do their part by mapping out emergency escape routes and preparing earthquake kits. In more local news this noon, Madison police are investigating their 4th shots fired call over a 3-day span. The latest happened just before 7 last night on Allied Drive near Genuine Road. Police say several people reported hearing the shots and seeing multiple cars speeding away. There were no reports of injuries. Other shootings this weekend happened on State Street, Hayes Road, and Packers Avenue. The number of people living in poverty is declining overall in Wisconsin, but not for the elderly population. According to the 11th annual Wisconsin Poverty Report, adults aged 65 and older are struggling to make ends meet. The report blames the rise on out-of-pocket medical expenses like insurance premiums, co-payments for medical services, prescription costs, and uninsured medical costs. Officials at the Aging and Disability Resource Center of Dane County say there are programs out there that can help.
There's programs to help you pay your Medicare premiums, programs to help make your prescription drug costs more affordable, programs to help you with your monthly energy costs, with your monthly food costs. Right now, there's a really exciting program that happens in the summer where you can get extra money to use at the farmers markets.
For more info on how to access those resources, just go to our website, channel3000.com. This afternoon in Milwaukee, Governor Tony Evers plans to sign a bill to regulate electric scooters on roads and sidewalks. Under a bipartisan measure, scooters must abide by a 15-mile-per-hour speed limit and weigh less than 100 pounds. Local governments could prohibit use on sidewalks or streets with speed limits above 25 miles per hour and restrict public rentals. Last year, the city of Milwaukee sued Bird Rides, Inc. when the company started renting the scooters there without any regulatory framework. The U.S. women's soccer team is traveling home from France with another World Cup trophy. Megan Rapinoe scored the first goal off of a penalty kick. Less than 10 minutes later, former Badger Rose Lavelle makes it 2-0. The final score, USA 2, Netherlands 0. There have only been 8 women's World Cup tourneys, and the U.S. has now won 4 of them. After the game, as the president of FIFA took the stage, the crowd began chanting equal pay. 28 members of the U.S. women's national team sued the U.S. Soccer Federation for discrimination by paying women less than members of the men's national team. The women's national team is ranked #1 in the world and have 4 World Cups under their belt compared to the men's 0. The prize for the 2018 Men's Cup stood at $400 million, while female players will receive just $30 million this year. All right, there's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Next, let's see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
It's July, and you know what that means. It's National Ice Cream Month. So join us as we celebrate it in a big way. It used to be when we went to the grocery store to pick up some ice cream, the biggest decision that we had to make was, what flavor do we want? But these days, there are so many more options to consider. And with July being National Ice Cream Month, I can't think of a better time to head to your market to stock up and take advantage of all the sales that are going on right now. Before it's time to decide what flavor we want, the first thing we need to choose is whether we're craving frozen yogurt, sorbet, sherbet, or something a bit more traditional. And for those of us who are looking for dairy-free options, there are lots of those too. Then we have to think if we want to scoop it ourselves or we'd rather pick up an assortment of ice cream novelties. There are so many fun new options, along with the nostalgic ones, just like we used to get from the ice cream truck. So to take advantage of all these favorites, we've created a special dessert that combines all of them. It's layer after layer of freshly baked cake, alternated with ice cream. And to put this over the top, each layer and the top is brimming with cut-up ice cream novelties, a little caramel and hot fudge, and it's time to dig in. To get the recipe for our ice cream party cake, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an ice cream-tacular way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Perfect day for some ice cream with plenty of sunshine out there, but showers are set to return to that forecast later this week. Meteorologist Chris Reese will share when we can expect those and the return of some extreme heat. This is News 3 Now at noon. Our Call for Action phone bank is open right now, ready to take on your consumer issues. You can call our hotline and volunteers will help you with any consumer complaints. The number to call is 608-270-2833. The service is open every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between 11 and 1. All right, to the stock market at the noon hour. Let's take a look at the numbers. The Dow down 124 points right now. NASDAQ also down 73. And the S&P 500 down 16.5. And time now to check in with Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee on a Monday afternoon. Hi, Pam.
Hey, Josh. Yeah, the farm markets are still trying to get themselves grouped back together, and we're wondering how much volume we're going to see. Obviously, with the 4th of July kind of towards the end of last week, some of the traders going to extend their vacation into this week. We had some initial export numbers that were released this morning from USDA. They call them the inspections report. Nothing really depressing about them, but then again, nothing really robust. So right now on the midday, we're trading a little bit lower, corn, beans, and wheat. We're keeping an eye on the numbers. You know, there's that big mystery out there, conversations that had been started in the G20 that China was going to come into the marketplace and buy more soybeans. Well, we're just not seeing those sales materialize. And even the sales that we've got on the books, we aren't seeing China call for transportation to get those beans in country. They may start movement on the beans, but generally what we've seen is that they divert them to someplace like Taiwan or someplace like that so they don't have to pay the tariff. So we're still caught up in that swirl. This afternoon, we're going to get our latest crop quality update, see what the heat last week did to our corn, our soybeans, our alfalfa fields, and some of our specialty crops. I know that it made a lot of farmers feel a little bit better that we were closer to knee high by the 4th of July for some of our fields last week. But boy, if you took a ride around any place in Wisconsin over the 4th of July, you know that you'd drive past one field and it was about ankle high. The other field would be about knee high. And that's the way it's going to be for this growing season. Fluid milk contracts are a little bit mixed on the midday. Barrel cheese down a penny today at 177. 40-pound block cheese down 3/4 cent at 184. And AA butter starts off the trade week down a penny and a quarter at 239 1/4 per pound. So again, that heat probably took a little bit of a toll on our milk production last week in Wisconsin too, Josh. I'll have to wait and see what we've got up our sleeve for heat and humidity later this week. That'll really dictate how much the barn fans are going to roll around Wisconsin.
Yeah, it'll be definitely something to watch later this week, Pam.
Yep.
We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Uh-huh.
All right, now to our forecast. Meteorologist Chris Reese has all the sunshine news today. Hey, Chris.
Hello, Josh. Another round of news for you all is the lower humidity that we are experiencing today. I have to say, on a personal note, to come back to the Midwest after spending a weekend in the South, this is definitely welcome. Dew points have dropped below 60 in a lot of spots, so especially for the eastern half of the viewing area, it just feels like a breath of fresh air, especially being outside today. Things are still a little bit more humid as you work your way back towards the Mississippi River, but that is normal for the west to be a little bit more humid than things on the eastern half of the state. Temperature-wise, not too bad. We're still warm. It's still summertime at least. 79 the temperature for our friends in Janesville. Lone Rock at 79 as well. Viroqua at 76. Madison right now, our temperature comes in at 79, and it's a beautiful look. A clear sky, a little bit hazy due to some of the wildfires coming out of Canada, but still the wind is calm, the humidity is low, and those dew points are into the 50s. We're going to keep that around going through at least the rest of today. We're also going to keep the clear skies around today. I do not expect or anticipate any showers or thunderstorms to develop over the state of Wisconsin. We have a few showers and thunderstorms throughout parts of eastern North Dakota or South Dakota that are approaching that I-29 corridor, but notice how they have fallen apart. That's because high pressure is in control. Let's talk about the severe weather risk. Notice how a lot of that is towards our north and west going through today. Here's what happens as we move into tomorrow. That moves a little bit farther towards the east, then in towards Wednesday. That moves directly over us and towards our south and east. What this is picking up on is a cold front that will be working our direction. Right now, again, high pressure is in control, but in time, a cold front develops that gradually starts to push its way towards the east. As it does so, it's going to bring with it gradual chances for showers and thunderstorms to work their way on through. None of those will be overwhelmingly damp or a washout by any means, but the chances will certainly be there. In fact, they're going to come in as soon as tomorrow night. So we go through the rest of this afternoon. We're going to be staying dry. Look for temperatures topping out into the lower 80s, cooling down into the upper 50s tonight. Yeah, it's going to feel good by the time you wake up tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, another dry day, but notice the cloud cover starting to develop as we work our way back towards the west just a little bit. And then tomorrow night, we'll see those chances for showers and storms joining the picture again. And I do want to reiterate, none of these are going to be a washout, but they'll be there. On Wednesday, we'll start the day dry, and then by Wednesday afternoon, we could see some chances for showers and storms as well. Here's our cool down right now that's keeping our temperatures feeling good. Watch what happens back towards the west, though. The heat builds again. That eventually takes charge over the country. So this cooler weather that we have right now, yes, cooler weather, even though we're still in the 80s, does not last for long. In fact, as we take our temperatures and look back through or forward through the next 7 to 10 days, we will see a jump again as temperatures try to make more runs at 90 degrees. I do believe the heat and humidity will return. So you see those slight thunderstorm chances just about every day starting next week. And those heat indices will again be into the mid and upper 90s, low 100s potentially. So the weather that we have now is nice.
It is a very nice break. We deserved a break, but I guess we
Yes.
knew it was going to return at some point.
It does return at some point, and I'll say this, I'll be in Kentucky again next week. Historically, one of the hottest and most humid weeks. I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy this now.
We'll take it all in, and then we'll think about this when we're suffering later this week. Thanks, Chris. Next at noon, Lisa Briggs is here from the Bruce Company. She'll be answering your plant and garden questions. The number to call, 270-9933. Stay with us. Welcome back this noon. Lisa Briggs is here from the Bruce Company. Call 270-9933 with your plant and garden questions. We'll get to there just a little bit. But first, what do you got with us today?
I brought some plants that love the summer heat. So we've got some coneflowers, and these are zinnias. So zinnias are an annual. Coneflowers are perennial. I love this one. It's called Kismet.
Ooh.
Isn't it an amazing color?
That is amazing.
I know.
How much do they need, like, as far as, like, water? Obviously, when you have...
Full sun.
Okay.
But coneflowers are a descendant of our native coneflower, and so they're a prairie plant, so they can do quite well if it gets a little dry.
I was going to say, yeah, because we have a lot of heat on the way.
Yes, if you plant things now, you want to keep them watered through the summer to establish them, but after that, they're pretty trouble-free.
All right, let's get to the phone lines now. We're going to start off with Rex from Brooklyn. Rex, what's your question?
I have 6 fruit trees in my backyard, plum, cherry, peach, and apple, and pear, and I don't have any blossoms on any of them this year.
Well, I would say with the prunus type, so the plum, the cherry, those were probably nipped by some of that late spring frost that we had. As far as the apple and the pear, how old are your trees?
3 years.
3 years. And are they in full sun?
Yes.
Well, sometimes trees, when you put them in, they take a couple years to establish before they're going to flower. But you might want to fertilize them this fall with some fertilizer for fruit trees that'll maybe boost some bud production.
All right, we'll go to our next question right now. We've got Michelle from Belleville. Michelle, what's your question? Michelle?
Hi.
What's your question, Michelle?
Hi. My garden is full of thistles. This is my 3rd year of trying to pull them out and cut them down and spray, but they keep coming back, and my garden's a disaster.
So the trick to thistles is that they're what we call a biennial. So the first year they put some basal foliage, and then they flower the second year. So it's really important not to let them go to seed, and that might be why they're coming in, because if they're in your yard in that kind of quantity, they're probably in your neighbor's yard as well. As far as getting them out, digging out is a really good way to do it. Again, don't let them flower and go to seed. You can use some of the herbicides. You just need to be really careful that you don't hit the plants that you want. If you don't want to use a chemical treatment, then the only thing to do, short of using a blowtorch, is to just dig them out.
I think those are always kind of an issue.
The blowtorches?
No, the thistles. Well, maybe those two. I think we've got time for one more question. Lori from Janesville. Lori, what's your question? Lori?
Yeah, I'm here.
What's your question?
I have a hosta in my backyard that my brother would like some, and I'm just wondering when is the best time to divide them, and what do I do?
Hostas are pretty easy to divide. I wouldn't do it until it's done flowering, but when it's done flowering, cut the flower stalks back, give it a good soak, dig it out, and take a super sharp shovel and cut it in pieces and replant and give some to your brother.
All right, some good questions today.
Yeah.
We always appreciate it. If you're still on the line, stay there. Lisa will answer those questions for you back in the newsroom. Let's head it over to Chris now with a nice sunny forecast. Hi, Chris.
Hello, Josh. Of course, we have a beautiful day out there, the humidity low as well, and this is what Wisconsin summers are all about. A beautiful day, temperatures topping out into the low 80s. Oddly enough, 82 is our normal high for this time of the year. So this is exactly what we should be experiencing. We get a little bit warmer, though, Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday night, a weak little cold front comes through that knocks us down for a day on Thursday. But by the time we get towards the weekend and into next week, our friend the sizzle is back, and the heat will certainly be on. So enjoy what we have now.
All right, Chris, thank you. And thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you back here on Live at 4.